threats down the line?
No, I didn't start back training to box again. I started only training to lose weight. I was 27'10", just under 28 stone when I wanted to get back down again. And my goal was to lose 10 stone to get down to 18 stone, just under. It was a big goal.
Register to ask a question at any time by pressing the star and 1 on your touch-tone phone. Please note this call may be recorded, and it is now my pleasure to turn the call over to Evan Korn. Please go ahead.
Hey, welcome everyone to the international conference call featuring Tyson Fury, the lineal heavyweight champion of the world, who takes on undefeated WBC world champion and feared KO artist Deontay Bronze Bomber Wilder, Saturday, February 22nd, in a historic joint presentation by FOX Sports pay-per-view and ESPN Plus pay-per-view, live from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. You can check your local cable listings to order, or order the fight directly on the FOX Sports app or ESPN Plus app. The pay-per-view broadcast will begin at 9 p.m. Eastern Time sharp. So before we kick things over to Tyson Fury, I'd like to introduce the chairman and founder of Top Rank, Mr. Bob Arum, for his opening statement.
Hey, thank you very much, Evan. Well, we're a little over a week away from the biggest heavyweight championship match in decades. We can't wait for fight night. The response from everybody, from cable systems, satellite providers, digital platforms, have been enormous. I want to thank especially ESPN and Fox for the magnificent way they have both stepped up to the plate to help us promote this fight. I want to also take this opportunity to thank my friends at PBC who have worked so well with my staff at Top Rank to make this such a great event. And of course, giving kudos to the two fighters who have been amazing in the comments they have made about the fight to the press, respecting each other's ability, but confident in the fact that each of them believe that they will win. And I'm particularly impressed and very thankful for Tyson Fury, who has shown the world how you, as a participant, promote a big event like this heavyweight championship match. Tyson has done a marvelous job communicating to the press, and having watched him in the gym, sparring, I'm telling everybody that he's on the top of the game, and you're going to see a masterful performance from Tyson on February 22nd. Thanks, Evan.
Thank you very much, Bob. And now we will kick things over to Tyson Fury for his opening statement. Tyson?
First of all, God bless you, Bob Arum, for that intro, excellent intro. I've been training very, very hard for the last 8 weeks in Las Vegas. I was training 4 or 5 weeks before that back in the UK. I've never, ever been as focused or as ready for one fight as I am for this fight. I have pulled out all the stops that anyone could ever pull out for a training camp. I've not left anything unturned. Every box has been ticked. We are going to see the best Tyson Fury that Tyson Fury can be. Last time, I only had a couple of fights back, 6 months activity after 3 years out the ring. This time, I've had well over a year of activity. I'm going to have five victories back to back. I've just come off a good 12-round contest back in the end of last year. I'm match fit, I'm ready, I'm confident. Sparring's been going well, I'm injury-free, no excuses my end. I'm ready for a war, 1 round or 12.
Thank you, Tyson. And shortly we are going to kick things over to the press and ask questions for either Tyson or Bob. Thank you.
At this time, if you would like to ask a question, please press star and 1 on your touch-tone phone. If If you find that your question has been asked, you may remove yourself with the pound key. Our first question comes from Dan Raphael from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Big Dan.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. Tyson, good to talk to you today. My first question for you, Tyson, is given that you have 12 rounds of experience against Deontay Wilder in your first fight from a couple years ago, I wonder, what do you think the biggest adjustment is that you need to make in this particular matchup, knowing that you already went 12 rounds with the guy before and you've seen what he has?
The biggest mistake I made last time was not making him pay when he was hurt. I didn't know what I had in the tank last time. I'd never been 12 rounds in a long time. This time I know I can do the distance, and when I get him hurt, I'll throw everything but the kitchen sink at him. And he won't know what hit him.
What do you think also in that fight the first time around that you learned most about him that you think you can exploit in the rematch?
I learned that he can be hit and he can be hurt quite regular. That's the biggest thing that I learned about Deontay Wilder. Nothing I didn't already know. Before I fought him, obviously, I didn't know what he was like in a boxing ring. And after I fought him, I know what he's like. And I said, there's nothing to worry about. He's got a big right hand, and that's it. You know, he's a one-dimensional fighter, and I'm going to prove that on the 22nd of February.
So, Tyson, do you think you going into this matchup have more confidence because you went to 12 rounds? A lot of people thought you won. You outboxed him for a long stretch. You survived the knockdown. Or is there a concern because you did get knocked down twice, particularly hard in the 12th round? Like, which one is it?
No, there's no stress to me going into the fight. You know, I've been 12 rounds of him, outboxed him quite comfortable. Took his best shots, got up, fired back into him. The one who should be concerned is Deontay Wilder because with him being a one-trick pony, he's a knockout artist, but he had me down twice in 2 rounds, 9 and 12, and he had over 2 minutes in each round to finish me, and he couldn't finish me. It was like that Mortal Kombat. They said, finish him! But he couldn't finish him. So yeah, he's the one who should be concerned. He's landed the 2 best punches that any heavyweight in the world could ever land on somebody else. And the Gypsy King rose like a phoenix from the ashes, back to me feet, and hurt him in the end of the round. So yeah, going to be pretty difficult for Wilder, not me. This is heavyweight boxing. I've been hit, I've been hurt, I've been put down in my career, but it's not when we get put down. It's what happens when we get back up, keep moving forward.
And our next question comes from Keith Iddick from BoxingScene.com. Please go ahead.
King of Gay Cunt.
Tyson, on a conference call a couple of days ago, Deontay Wilder's trainer said that he felt that Deontay Wilder's boxing ability and his ring IQ was underrated. I was just wondering how you would assess his, being the skillful boxer that you are, would assess his boxing ability and his ring IQ.
So he's got a lot of experience. He's got over 40 professional contacts. What he doesn't know about boxing now, at 34 years old, is that he's not gonna know it. I thought his boxing IQ was okay. He wasn't up there with the likes of someone like Vladimir Klitschko, but he was decent. You know, he's always looking dangerous. He always looks imposing and dangerous. So you can never write somebody off like that. That's for sure.
Tyson, there's been a lot of talk since you fought him, and he's had 2 big knockouts and everything, that he's arguably the biggest puncher in boxing history. Even Bob himself has said maybe that's true. I was just wondering, having felt his power, what you think of it, and how it maybe compares to Klitschko and other people that you fought.
You know, I felt the power. Ain't so bad. He can't be the biggest puncher in history because he couldn't knock the Gypsy King out, could he? He took his best shot, pushed on the chin and got back up. You know, he punches hard, but I've never been hit by the likes of someone like Ernie Shavers. I didn't get hit by George Foreman. I didn't get hit by Rocky Marciano or any of those top guys. I didn't get hit by them, so I can't comment. So to say he's the biggest puncher in history, I'm not really sure because I didn't get hit by all the guys in history. But, you know, I don't think he punches harder than Vladimir Klitschko. Vladimir has a massive knockout punch. A lot more fights than Wilder as well, 65 contests. Make no mistake, all heavyweights punch hard, and they can all knock anybody out. Wilder, I don't think it's so much his power, it's the speed he lands, which is it can be tricky when you don't see it coming. But then again, even a guy who's got no knockout ratio, if he hits you and you don't see it coming, then he's going to put you down. But actually feeling punches in fight, I'm not familiar with it because I don't feel any punches when I'm in the ring because the adrenaline's flying high when you're in a fight. You don't feel the punches, ever.
And our next question comes from Brian Campbell from CBS Sports. Please go ahead.
Thanks so much. Tyson, when you said in both press conferences that you're training for the knockout, you're predicting a second-round knockout, the reaction of most people have been that you're planting a mind trick or trying to sort of hide your strategy. How would you address the doubters who don't believe that this is your intention?
Well, we won't have to wait long to find out, will we? 10 days. 9 days. The 13th today, sorry. 9 days and we're there. So it's not very long to see if I'm bluffing or I'm telling the truth. You know, this is boxing. Many people have said many things in the past. We'll see if I'm man enough to back it up, eh?
If this is your intention, how much did the judging in the first fight against Wilder, play in you wanting to alter your strategy like this?
It played a massive role because it's made me uncomfortable. It's made me do things I didn't want to do. But, you know, when we're taken out of our comfort zone and pressed and pressed and pressed, then we become better. So it was almost like a blessing in disguise that I didn't get the decision because I would have kept working on my boxing. Just box. I believe I can outbox Deontay Wilder very, very comfortable. But the fact of the matter is, I believe I outboxed him comfortable last time, but it's no good me believing it. The judges have to believe it. And to guarantee a victory, I've got to get a knockout because, I don't want to leave anything unturned this time. I don't want another controversial decision. I don't want people to say, oh, well, he won, no, he won, whatever. I want it to be a defining win, either way. The boxing side of it, one judge had it 114, 112 or something, 113, and then one judge had it like 117, 110, 116, 110. So I'm not sure what fight that judge was watching, but, I'm not a judge. These guys see what they see. That's their personal opinion. That's what they get paid to do. So, yeah. But in order to guarantee a victory, I think you've got to take it out of anybody's hands. My own destiny lies within my own two fists.
Tyson, given the terms of the contract and the potential for a third fight with the loser having the option from what we've heard publicly, are you preparing your mind that you're going to fight Wilder twice this year no matter what happens?
One fight at a time. I'm only 9 days from the biggest fight in their life, so I'm not looking past that. Not looking at any other fights. Not one other fight in the world matters at the moment. I only concentrate on one fight at a time. Let's get through this one, then we'll talk business about more fights.
And our next question comes from Michael Woods from New York Fights. Please go ahead.
Hello, Gypsy King. Hello, Bob Arum. Question for Tyson Fury. Tyson, you've said that this time we're not going to see the quote-unquote herky-jerky style, and you're going to be more offensive and really looking to take it to Deontay Wilder. I do wonder, have you done things in camp, tweaked anything so you will be showing more power? Are you turning your hip more, punching through the target? What are you doing at camp so this strategy will work on February 22nd?
Well, if I told you that, I'd give me full game plan away, wouldn't I?
Yeah, I don't want the full game plan. Maybe just 10%.
Well, let's just say I've been sitting down in the pocket and letting them fly very aggressively and a high volume of them. Let's just say that.
All right, that'll be a fan-friendly fight then, not much more. Tyson, in the first one, you were down a couple times. I am curious, do you worry about your chin? Do you work on anything to make your chin that much more impregnable, or do you just say, no, I have confidence in my chin. I know it can hold up.
I have got confidence in my chin, but I've been doing a lot of pussy licking to strengthen my jaw up. Oh, yeah, I've been strengthening the old jaw up as well.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, licking pussy is good for the jaw.
Our next question comes from Stephen Muehlhausen from Sporting News. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Bob and Tyson, for the time today. And Tyson, just want to, you go back to what Brian said real quickly, and you said this fight is the biggest fight of your life. What makes this fight bigger than the fight you had with Vladimir Klitschko?
This fight's the biggest fight of my life. Now, Vladimir Klitschko's in the past, it's history, and this fight's active and current. So every fight that I have going forward is the biggest fight of my life.
You brought in recently Jacob Stitchderand, to be your cut man. What was the decision behind bringing Stitch in?
The decision was I got a big cut in my last fight, 47 stitches across the top of the eye, inside and out, and I need someone who's the best at what they do. And Stitch seems to be the best at what he does, so yeah, we're not cutting any corners, that's for sure.
Is it a decision? Do you wish you would have brought him in before the fight with Otto, or was it just you had a guy, you were set on him, and you wanted to see what would happen?
No, I don't think it makes any difference, who was in the corner. Unless there was a miracle worker in the corner, who was good at punching cuts and making them not happen. And yeah, it doesn't matter who's in the corner on that night, you're still going to get a cut either way.
And once again, that is star and 1 to join the question queue. Our next question comes from Jeremy Herridges from fansided.com. Please go ahead.
Hey, Tyson, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today. Obviously, going in the ring with Deontay, it was a dramatic fight. Would you call that the toughest fight of your career, or would you say that you've been tested more than that one fight?
I wouldn't say that was the toughest fight. I'd say that was one of my easiest fights, to be fair. Other than the 2 knockdowns, it was a pretty one-sided fight. I've had much difficult fights than that before, much more harder than that. Deontay Wilder's not my toughest opponent, that's for sure. My toughest opponent in my full career was Steve Cunningham. He was a former cruiserweight champion. I fought him in about 2013 in New York, Madison Square Garden, and that was the toughest fight I ever had.
And our next question comes from Tony Page from New York Daily News. Please go ahead.
Hey, Tyson. What's going on?
What's going on, sir?
Real quick question. I just have one question for you. You say you're going to knock out Deontay Wilder. You didn't do it in the first fight. Do you see something, or do you see a weakness in his game that will make you exploit it and knock him out?
It's not about what Deontay Wilder does. It's about what I do. I don't think about the opponent. The opponent means nothing to me. I've got to concentrate on what I do, not what he does. It's all about what I do on the night, not about what he does, which gets a knockout.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from Sean Close from Boxing Insider. Please go ahead.
Hi, champ. Thanks for taking the time out to talk to all of us. I just have one simple question. When you realized that you needed to be more aggressive this time around to get a guaranteed win, was that what led you to training with Sugar Hill Stewart more than perhaps another trainer that might be more defensive-minded?
Yeah, I had a good defensive coach with Ben Davison. We worked on a lot of defense every single day, 2 years. It was defense. So I needed an aggressive trainer. I worked with Sugar Hill in the past. I knew he was a good guy. I knew we got on well, which is very important. Communication is key to any good relationship. That's why I brought him in. And it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made, ever.
Great. Thank you so much, and all the best.
No problem.
Our next question comes from Carlos Toro from Fightful. Please go ahead.
Thanks so much. Thanks, Tyson, for taking time to talk to us. Earlier in the call, you talked about the readiness, in this fight compared to the first fight. Obviously, you had the very tough fight against Otto Wallin. Do you believe that fight maybe perhaps prepared you for you to have to go into deep waters against Deontay Wilder this time around, compared to your first 2 fights coming back right before the first fight against Deontay?
For sure. Going the distance in good fights, it really does sharpen your match fitness. I was happy that I lost fight. It was a tough fight, and it wasn't just a blow over. Because it prepares me more for the Deontay Wilder Battle Royale. We both had 2 quick knockouts in the first 2 fights we had. He knocked out Dominic Brazil in a round, I knocked out Tom Schwartz in 2 rounds. And then in the second fight, I got a good 12 rounds in, and he got a good 7 rounds in. So we're both coming into this fight with match fit, both coming very active into this next fight.
All right, thanks, Tyson. Best of luck. It's February 22nd.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from Keith Eidig from BoxingScene.com. Please go ahead.
Tyson, you mentioned a few minutes ago that the Steve Cunningham fight was the toughest of your career. I know you were down in that fight. Can you elaborate on what made that fight the toughest for you?
At that time in my life, I'd never fought anybody like Steve Cunningham. He won the IBF title, like I defended it, and maybe 7 times or something like that. He was unified champion, and it was my first step up, like, onto anybody with that type of ability. And he was slick, and he was hard to hit. He was very awkward, and he was a very good boxer. So that was the toughest fight in my life.
Going into that fight, Steve was a smaller heavyweight. Did you underestimate him maybe going into that fight?
No, I never underestimated him. He was 6'3", 210 pounds. He was probably taller than Evander Holyfield and bigger as well. So, we say small heavyweights, but they're really big heavyweights. But today, the heavyweights have gone super size. So, it was a tough opponent. I didn't underestimate him. He was a very good guy, very good boxer.
I just have one other question for you, Tyson. How much did it help? Changing trainers is never easy, but how much did it help, though, that you knew Javon Stewart and didn't have to get to know a new trainer entirely?
It was very helpful. We knew each other from the past, and it was helpful because we just gelled straight away. There was no getting used to each other and all that. We just went straight to work in an old-fashioned type manner.
Would you have changed to a trainer that you weren't familiar with, or would you not have done that?
I wouldn't have done it, no.
Okay.
Because we only had 8 weeks to prepare for the fight, and it takes a few weeks to get used to a new trainer and to gel on the personalities. You never know what you're getting with new trainers and all that, but the fact that we worked together in the past, we knew each other, we kept in touch, we spoke to each other over the years. It was really helpful. We just got straight down to work.
Thanks, Tyson.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from Hans Demisko from Round by Round. Please go ahead.
Hey, is Bob still on the line?
Yeah.
Hey, Bob. So my question is for you. I know Tyson said that he wanted to, go for the knockout, but there's been several occasions where you've come out and said that Tyson is one of the best pure boxers you've ever seen. So does it kind of concern you when he comes out with a game plan like that, wanting to knock out Wilder, but that kind of plays into his hands when he can pretty much outbox him for the full 12 rounds?
Well, I have confidence in Tyson because, there are guys who say they're going to knock out their opponent, and it's like a baseball player getting up to the plate and trying to hit a home run. When anybody who knows baseball will say that the guy who looks to make contact has a better chance to hit a home run than the guy that's swinging from his heels. So Tyson is a great boxer, but he has a determination to knock out Wilder, and he knows that he's not going to force it, and the knockout will come. And that, unlike the first fight, when he gets Wilder into trouble, and Wilder was in trouble at a couple of times in that fight, he's not going to let him off the hook. He's going to go for the knockout.
Gotcha. And just my last question is for Tyson. You've done just about everything, well, for the most part, just about everything in the heavyweight division. Lineal champ, you've had just about every belt. You've fought a lot of great fighters. The one thing I don't believe you've gotten yet is the WBC belt, because the Klitschko had it. Klitschko didn't have it at the time that you fought him. So, I know you've kind of made it, you kind of let it be known that, nothing really gets you going so much, because it's just like, hey, I already had that belt, I already did this, I already did that. So when it comes to the WBC belt, do you kind of look at that like, okay, this is something that I really want? I know you really want to be Wilder. When you look at the belt itself, you're just like, hey, that's the one thing I didn't achieve yet.
I always like challenges. The WBC is the one that's escaped me over the years, for whatever reasons. I never got my hands on it yet. And it will be just finish off my collection of all the belts that there is to offer out there. And that would be every single one of them. So yeah, it would be nice to finish the collection off for sure.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate it, and good luck, man.
Good luck. Good luck.
Our next question comes from Dan Rafael from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Hello, Tyson. I just had a follow-up question for you. you have the big win against Vladimir Klitschko on your record. You've got some other good wins, Chisora and whatnot. A lot of people thought you won the first fight with Deontay. If you win this second fight, what do you think this does for the legacy of Tyson Fury, particularly because you have said that you don't have very many more fights left after this?
Yeah, I'm not really too concerned about the legacy. I've done what I've done. When I'm finished with boxing, I don't care about the legacy at all. But the fact of the matter is I care about being active and I care about what's happening now. So, yeah, I think the Wilder fight cements me. Winning this fight cements me as the best of my era. No more to prove. Everyone else has been defeated. And there was only me and Deontay Wilder left who were unbeaten after 12 years as professionals. It was all on the line for this fight. I think it's a massive must for me. It's a massive must to win.
But you really, I rarely do I hear boxers say that they literally don't care about their legacy. I have to believe that after your long career that you don't have some part of you that wants to be remembered in a really positive way for everything you've accomplished.
I'm not really concerned about what happens when I'm gone. When I'm gone means I'm retired, and when I'm retired means I'm on to other things. And that'll be another chapter of my life. So, we can only take one chapter of our lives at a time. And I'm just enjoying and living in the moment right now. I'm living my dream, my childhood dream, my young adult dream, and my midlife dreams. And like I say, I really don't care about legacy, and that's the fact of the matter. Because what somebody thinks of me when I'm finished is really unimportant, because it's all sticks and stones, whether it's good or bad. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, and there'll be somebody else to replace me, just like everybody else, every other champion in history. All the young guys have come along and took my place, and that's how the food chain works.
Fair enough. I'd like to ask Bob that question also. Bob, you still there?
Yeah, man.
So you heard Tyson, I think, say that with the victory against Wilder on February 22nd, that he doesn't care about what people would say about it in terms of his legacy. But you've been around for a long time, seen a lot of great heavyweights. What do you think Tyson Fury's legacy would be with this victory?
Well, I think that everybody would have to recognize him as one of the great heavyweight champions of all time. I mean, it seems to me, and I've been through in my years in boxing, heavyweight champions that go back before most of you writers were born. I mean, starting with Ali and Joe Frazier and Foreman and Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, and Lennox Lewis, and Joshua and Wilder. And when Tyson does what I expect him to do on February 22nd, he definitely will belong with those immortals.
All right, very good. Thank you for that, Bob. Thank you, Tyson. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Michael Woods from New York Fights. Please go ahead.
Follow-up question for the Gypsy King. Tyson, you said that you don't really so much care what the other guy brings to the table. It's what you're able to do. But I feel like Wilder, to me, seems as confident as he's ever been. I wonder, do you assess him the same way, or no, his mindset really doesn't matter to you?
Yeah, his mindset is none of my concern. Every fight I've ever fought has been confident they're going to win. Because if they wasn't, they'd be in the wrong game. That's for sure. As performing athletes, as champions, you always believe you're going to win, but it hasn't affected me so far in my career that every other opponent I've ever fought thought he was going to win, and it didn't. It doesn't matter what the opponent's mindset is. It's about what mindset I've got going into the ring and what game plan I execute in there. And that's all it comes down to. Wilder can be the best Wilder he ever wants to be. But if my mindset's totally concrete on winning, then I'm going to win, for sure. And it's how much you want it. And I believe I want this more than Deontay Wilder does. Deontay Wilder wants to be a famous guy. He wants to be an actor. He wants to be on TV. He's into all that lifestyle and all that. He's just what I'd call a social climber. He wants to be something he's not. Me, I don't care for all that stuff. I don't care about being famous. I don't care about being somebody wants to shake my hand or be on TV. None of that stuff means anything to me. The only thing that means to me is winning these fights. That's it, period. And when the boxing's over, that's it for me. There's no more fame, no more money. Because I won't be taking any more steps to be to be an actor or to be a singer or to be something like that, because it doesn't interest me. I'm a purebred fighting man, through and through. And when it's over, that's it. Nothing else matters to me.
Fair enough. You've spoken how you see your legacy. That makes sense. I am wondering, though, about the present. You win this fight, and do you think the case could be made that really you win this, that you deserve to be maybe regarded as the best pound-for-pound boxer on the planet?
Well, I'm not sure about all that pound-for-pound stuff. I'm not too sure how it works. I think it's like fantasy baseball, isn't it, where everyone just has an opinion on who they think's the best or whatever. The pound-for-pound stuff, I've never really been able to follow it, because it's like saying if an eagle had feet, he'd be able to run faster than an ostrich. Or, if a cow could fly, could he fly faster than an aeroplane? It's just people's opinion, like randomly making up stuff. But I'm not sure about how that works. But one thing I do know is when I beat Deontay Wilder, I'll be the best heavyweight of my era, standing alone.
Very good stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Question comes from James Bell from The Boxing Source. Please go ahead.
All right, this question is for Tyson Fury. One of the things that is a topic going into this particular fight is your weight and how comfortable you are coming into this fight in comparison to your first fight. How do you feel with your current weight going into this fight that's coming up in 9 days?
Yeah, I feel comfortable with the weight. I'm already there where I want to be. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm not trying to put weight on. I'm a giant heavyweight, eating clean, eating well. And whatever weight to weigh in on the night is really unimportant. You've seen heavyweights coming at 200 pounds. You've seen them coming at 300 pounds. The heavyweight division has no limit. So it's one of those things.
Now, years ago, Emanuel Stewart talked about you and Deontay Wilder being two of the top heavyweights coming up to this particular point. With you now training with Sugar Hill Stewart, what does this mean to you to pretty much come almost full circle from that particular point years ago with Emanuel Stewart to now?
Fantastic, isn't it? It's very interesting that 12 years ago, 10 years ago, when you were called all this, and it's come back to reality, and Sugar Hill's training me his nephew, so it's great that I'm actually having these big fights and having the influence of the Kronk Gym and Emanuel Stewart in the corner.
And our next question comes from Don Hewitt from Boxing TV. Please go ahead.
Hi, Tyson. I'm probably one of the few English people to speak with you today. I know everybody's excited back home. Looking at the interview with John Fury and David Haye, John Fury said that we saw the best of Deontay Wilder. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think we've seen the best of Deontay Wilder. He's 34 years old. I don't think you get better after 34, do you? That's for sure. I think you hit a point in your career, and that's called the prime of your career, the pinnacle. And then after that pinnacle, you slide down, and that's what happens. History tells that story. So Deontay Wilder's at the pinnacle of his career. The only place he can go now, he can either extend that pinnacle or he can slide down. So yeah, he's not going to get any better. He's at his best.
Absolutely. And talking from a different perspective, especially here in the UK, you're known as a real advocate of mental health, and for all these people, getting up off the ground in the 12th round of the last fight, you really showed that true bravery, that true gypsy fighting spirit. What have you got to say to all the people out there in the UK and all around the world who are struggling with mental health?
The best message I can give is, you can do it. It's never over until it's over. Seek medical advice immediately. And communication is key to everything. If you don't talk about things, you're never going to get things right. Things will never come back to how they were unless you talk about them. Battling mental health is one of the worst things anybody can do. I've been there, I've done it all myself, and I hid it away from a lot of people for a long time, and I exploded. And that's what happens. But if you want to get well again, you've got to seek medical advice and get a routine going in your life. Set short-term goals, targets, and achieve them. And that's what I did. I used training as my medicine, and I used living a healthy lifestyle as a medicine too.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tyson. Final question. This is coming from Matt and Alex, one of our followers. What can us Brits expect from you? What can we expect from you in this fight?
You can expect to see the WBC champion returning home 24th of February.
And I would like to go ahead and turn it back to Tyson for any closing remarks.
Just want to say thank you for everyone taking the time today to interview me and get some questions in. I believe we went through quite a few stuff there and answered as much as I could. Big shout out to Bob Arum for being on the line, taking time out of his busy schedule. And don't forget to tune in on ESPN Plus and Fox Pay-Per-View on BT Sport, February 22nd. Is the most entertaining fight of the last 20 years. Be there or be square. Peace out.
This does conclude today's program. Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect at any time.
And I will suffer with it for the rest of my life.
Do you think that's the case? Do you not think that there's, with everything that you've got going for you now and with your knowledge about mental health and where you're at, is it something that you can conquer, or do you think it's something you will always be fighting?
All right, we're going to take like a little 2-minute intermission. We'll be right back.
A lot of times, and people who say, "Oh well, I had mental health yesterday, but now it's totally gone," they probably didn't really have anything. But when you've been diagnosed with a disorder, then it's very hard to get rid of it. And even though I am on good days and I'm in a fantastic place and everything's going really well for me, I'm reminded regularly that I can slip down into deep despair very quickly.
If you were to have a good life, what does that mean? What do you need to do to achieve to have a good life?
To have a good life, I just need to keep active, fit, and keep training. Because without the training, I'll die, and that's a fact.
You've become an advocate for mental health, as we've discussed. Do you feel that that's your calling, or is your calling to be a world heavyweight champion to inspire people? Like, why is the Gypsy King here?
The Gypsy King's here to spread positivity, to talk about mental health publicly on massive platforms, and the Gypsy King's here to show people that anything is possible.
Do you feel that that's a calling?
Yes, and it's bigger than boxing for sure.
When we last spoke in depth, we spoke about fame, and your fame must have increased post-Wilder with everything that you've done.
Yep.
What's that like?
I'm not motivated by fame, so it doesn't mean anything to me if I'm famous or I'm not. I actually wish I wasn't famous. Just to be able to live a normal life, sort of.
Get his feet set.
Not I've achieved a lot of things in my life.
Don't try and load up the biggest shot from the first round. Pick it. Take your time. Jab to the body. Jab to the face.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
He hasn't got the ability to do
You're making him fight like David Haye.
No. Wilder can jab. I've done enough rounds with Wilder to know how effective his jab is. He can box.
No,
he hasn't shown his
he lives
boxing
and dies
ability
with the jab to me.
I know, but he hasn't really shown his boxing ability in the ring. He shows his power. Once he has someone's hurt, he just goes hell for leather, and whatever happens, and people end up knocked out. But he can box. He's got a great jab. His head works good. His feet are good. When he switched onto boxing zone, he's a very, very tough boxer to get to.
I think people give him too much stick for being wild. I think he actually only gets wild once he really has to hurt. Or once he's panicking.
But in the first fight, he didn't. He got wild before. Remember?
Yeah. There was moments where Tyson was against the ropes and he was trying to unload some shots. Of course.
Wilder, I always used to say that. Everyone used to say he's too wild. I'd say, okay, only when he's got his man hurt.
Yeah, because he's pretty calculated.
He got wild with Tyson before he was hurt. And that's, I believe, was the difference. That's why it all unravelled for him and it just didn't work, because he turned his finisher off before someone was ready to finish off.
I'll tell you why it never worked, because he went into shock, Wilder. When he knew Tyson was in front of him, boxing like he was, he went into shock.
John, A, when he was in front of him, but B, and I was really close to this, as were you, John Boy, Tyson got him in the week. He got him when we had the press conference in this building here in East London, and he got him in the week. And you could see Wilder's mind going, I've never had this before. Now, people might say, no, Bunty, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter until it does matter. Going into that, just like he got Vladimir in Dusseldorf. You remember when Big Vlad couldn't look at him, John? Couldn't look him in the eye? And we knew then, and we were celebrating in the hotel Thursday, Friday night, because we knew he'd broken Big Vlad long before the first bell.
He still broke him.
Well, it's exactly.
Even though he's not there.
But it was the same thing with Wilder. During
he won't
that
even
week,
he won't
and
even have
it
a press
didn't
conference
change
with
it-
him, will he?
didn't
He
change
won't
it in
even
the
turn to a
first
press
round.
conference in case he gets how vulnerable are they though when they can't go and face a man face
John,
to face.
But John,
you know, in case it puts them off the game plan.
saying
It's ridiculous.
Saying that, and I'm going to upset
Real
you.
fighting man out like that.
John, I still think, and I'm with David on this one, I still think we'll see a much better Wilder. I still think we'll see a much
What
better
can he do
Wilder.
different then? You
He
can't teach
can
all
jab,
God's tricks.
he can jab, he can listen to his corner, he can move his feet better,
He can
cut the
jab
corner
against
down,
stationary target.
and he won't throw that wild, crazy right
Oh,
hand.
he will, because that's his.
I don't think he will
That's
this
his
time,
template.
John.
That crazy right hand, take that away from me. Can't fight.
Here's where I give Wilder credit. He doesn't lose his self-belief. People saying, oh, even here we're saying, oh, he didn't expect Fury to do this or that or that. But one thing you got to give Wilder credit for in the fight is things weren't going his way, and he never stopped believing. All the way up until round 12, he's throwing hurtful shots. That means the mentality was the winning mentality in his mind all throughout the fight, regardless of where he was in the fight, regardless of the frustration. So to me, that shows a mentally strong fighter.
What extent now is Tyson actually relying and changing his style to a degree to rely more on power?
Every time I speak to Tyson, he's much more happy. All he says to me.
I got to admit, you know, I'm really looking forward to the card next week in regards to, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to watch the entire broadcast. I'm going to cover about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 fights on the whole card next week. I put as much information down below in the description box. Next week is very busy. So when you turn to ESPN, when you turn to Fox, you know how, like me, when I grew up, or especially when I was in college, when I went to sleep at night, ESPN was always on. When I woke up in the morning, ESPN was always on. It's not like that anymore. But I know that it's going to be impossible if you're an American sports fan to not see Wilder versus Fury content next week. $79.99 on pay-per-view, and you degenerate scumbags. You know, I'm going to do a whole dedicated stream probably tomorrow on something that's kind of taboo to talk about. Boxing streaming, the illegal boxing streaming, and how it's been basically destroying the sport behind the scenes. These fighters get the pay-per-view. They think it's the old days because they're not on the internet. They're not in the chats. They don't know how easy it is. Some of them do. How easy it is for people just to illegally stream these fights on their 4K televisions. It's crazy. I still think this pay-per-view is going to be more successful than I ever thought it was going to be. I think this pay-per-view can do 700K, but if I'm saying 700K, it's probably going to do like 5 or 6. But it does feel bigger than Pacquiao versus Thurman. I do say that, which is the highest pay-per-view, highest purchase pay-per-view since Canelo versus Golovkin 2, which is around 1.1 million pay-per-view buys, unofficial. So I don't know, man. I'm hyped. And for those, you know, I forgot that how fanboys can get when you're and you're in the chat. I know how you feel. Listen, I feel that Tyson Fury can knock out Deontay Wilder. I think he's going to do it. Is he not the overall better fighter? I'm talking about technically sound. Now, also, when it comes to soundness, is my argument not logical? Now, obviously, I'm not the fucking fortune teller. I'm not Nostradamus. You know, I can't say I know for sure Tyson Fury is going to knock out Deontay Wilder. But I think he is. Now, for those who have been following me for years and years and years, you're probably going to say, oh, shit, he didn't pick Tyson Fury. That means definitely pick Deontay Wilder. But over the years, things have changed. My luck is changing like a motherfucker. I mean, look where we are now. Remember when it used to be me in a room with the dirty walls in the background. Now look at us. I'm not just saying this to say this. Okay, imagine this, right? Tyson Fury decides to not try to box Deontay Wilder, to take him on the inside, try to rough him up to the body, put his head in his chest. Them long-ass arms coming around with the body shots. We haven't seen Deontay Wilder react to that. How is he going to react to an inside fight? And then let's say if it goes to round 5, 6, or 7, Tyson Fury decides to take it back to the middle. Deontay Wilder's a little tired. He never went through that before. That 270-pound frame, leaning on him, hitting him all over the place. Deontay Wilder's got a nice jab. We saw that in the first Bermain-Stavern fight. You know, he's got a jab that can be, that can be dominant if he wants it to be, but I just don't know. I think if somebody really, really puts the pressure on him, he can be stopped. And I like Deontay Wilder, and it's unfortunate that, with sports, and that's what it is, not just boxing, sports in general, there's the tribalism. People are going to be like, oh, you sold out. You hate Deontay Wilder because you're picking against him in this fight. It's just one fight. I'm going to be here covering Deontay Wilder to the end of his career. I've been here since fucking 2010, 2011, 12, covering fights on this channel since 2014. I'm going to be here. If Tyson Fury gets knocked out, guess what? You think I'm going to just leave YouTube and be like, oh, man, I'm not going to show my face? And I'm going to be on here like, oh, shit, Tyson Fury got fucked up. Y'all know I am. And we're going to be here next Saturday night live streaming, talking about it. That's how we get down. But I'm not naive. I'm not stupid. I know that Tyson Fury can get his fucking head knocked off. You think I don't know that at any second he can be doing so good and get his fucking clock clean? I'm talking about listen, when Deontay Wilder knock you out, you be fucked up and it's getting worse each time. It was Tyson Fury. He was down there. He's still a meme. Then Dominic Breazeale didn't even make it out the first round. And then fucking Luis Ortiz with that fucking hair piece, that afro wig, he fucking down there with his neck all bent up. That shit be scary because you be like, oh shit, damn, Deontay Wilder losing. And then all of a sudden you be like, oh shit, you see him knock somebody the fuck out. That shit be scary. But if you look at that first knockdown, Tyson, okay, I'm not going to sit here and be like making up excuses for why he got knocked down and all that. I just think that he can do it. By the way, Paulie Malignaggi got banned from PBC stuff, PBC Fox stuff. He's still with Showtime, but come on, man, that was fucked up. He can't have his opinion. By the way, Tyson Fury Pop looked just like an older Tyson Fury. And I can see where Tyson Fury got his mouthpiece from. They talk. It's the same.
Crackle spread me just run back, and it's over.
I don't reckon Wilder.
Do you want to bet then?
I'll
bet you £50,000.
I don't like to bet.
I'll bet you 50 grand, 100 grand.
I'm
a man of my word.
It's not about betting. It's about my opinion. My opinion
opinion's
is
good, yeah.
Wilder won't crack.
Well,
He's not a cracking type of guy.
We can see that. But
No. It's about. I've never seen anything in the ring when he's fought. I've never seen anything personality-wise. I've never seen anything inspiring that suggests he cracks under pressure. Until I see a man crack, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt.
He hasn't fought anybody. Put him under pressure.
Tyson Fury proved he didn't crack last time out.
Tyson, let me tell you, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe, they'd have done my son a year ago in 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it because he shouldn't have been in there. His body, you could put your finger in it, that fight, it was like a lot of tissue paper, all little saggy skin like a blowed up balloon. I was in better shape.
Because he'd lost all that weight and he hadn't trained at the weight. Yeah,
he was as weak as a kitten, but his self-belief, he said, my self-belief and my determination enough to beat him. He said, because I know he ain't got it. But listen, I'll be the first one.
His pop definitely looked like the kingpin villain. The one that called all the shots. I think my theory is why Tyson Fury changed trainers is because, for one, he wants to establish himself here in the States. If he establishes himself here in the States, then Ben has to also move here to the States. You know? But you never know, but that's my theory. But also, Tyson Fury's pop, him right here, he was bashing Ben Davison. Basically, he ain't like all that playing and jokey shit. He ain't like that shit. And he pretty much was talking about, like, how Ben Davison was a leisure center trainer, like a PE teacher, like fucking physical ed teacher, and not really a boxing trainer. Like more of a strength and conditioning guy, you know? So you can tell that Big John Fury really didn't like him too much. Wilson Fisk. Not Frisk, it's Fisk.
Want to come and say, David, I'm wrong, Steve, I'm wrong, Paul, I'm wrong, John, I'm wrong. But I know this time what my son's capable of doing.
There's no give in these guys. You know, they're two fighters that have not only have a great amount of ability, but have a great amount of pride in their work and a great amount of pride in what they do.
This is about 50-50 fights. You know about 50-50 fights. When you fought Derek Chisora the first time.
Also, it looked like fucking David Haye scared of him. Did y'all watch this? That energy between him and David Haye, like, David Haye know the truth about him. Like, yo, I ain't even gonna get out of line with him. He'll get me smacked up in the streets.
Both of you was fresh when you won in the 5th round. Yeah. That was a 50-50.
Look how Haye just give him his undivided attention. There's something we don't know.
Fight. Has Wilder had anything like that? No. We've not seen him in a 50-50, so you can't
if he wasn't as good as he is, you would have seen him in lots of 50-50 fights. I'm saying if Deontay Wilder wasn't as good as he was, and he didn't have the punch power that he has, you would have seen him in a lot more entertaining fights. But his punch power is so powerful that it never gets to the point where it becomes exciting because he just knocks you stark out when you're fresh.
I just haven't seen him fight.
Because he punches so hard, you might never get to see that.
Oh, yeah. Is he the hardest you've been hit?
Yeah, by a long shot. From the first right hand.
He's a cruiserweight. He boxed at 13 stone. He's bound to be a big banger.
No, I've been hit by lots of people, and significantly, I felt the difference between his punch. I remember the first right hand, I kind of blocked the right hand here, and it hit me on top of the head here. And I remember just thinking, this guy can really punch. So at that point, I had to really switch on like it was a fight. I just hope and pray that Tyson Fury doesn't just hope that Wilder just quits after
Fury's
6-7 rounds.
Had too hard a life.
I just hope
Fury's
he doesn't think. But you're saying that you've seen it in his eyes that he's going to quit.
I know
you can see he's got break. I just hope he's not banking on him quitting.
No, he's not banking on him.
Okay, good, because it'd be a very dangerous thing to hope someone gives up after a while.
I've never told Tyson about this.
He's going to watch this.
Let me tell you, Tyson knows himself.
I mean, yeah, you know, they're talking about shit we already know. You know, Tyson Fury, I'm pretty sure if he don't, then he's a goddamn fucking, I guess you can't say retard anymore in this day and age. Well, anyway, he's sick in the head if he doesn't understand that Wilder is dangerous for all fucking 36 minutes every second. You know? So, this is getting redundant. I was going to do another stream on the Ryan Garcia versus Francisco Fonseca and Linares versus Morales and Blair the Flair Cobbs versus Samuel Cote weigh-in. And also I wanted to talk about how Canelo team made an offer to Callum Smith, and news has come out that Callum Smith has turned it down. Now, why do you think, just real quick, why do you think that Callum Smith turned it down? I'm going to do a whole video on that. Why do you think he probably turned it down? What's the number one thing that probably comes to mind? Be honest. I'm going to tell you what I think it is. Some fucking rehydration clause. That's what I think. That's what I think. It's like, all right, you can get the fight, but if you want the fight, then you can't come in no more than 178. Like, that shit, man. But listen, I have no issue. Like, I know that it's up to the fighters. Like, if you sign a contract, I'm not giving you no shit. Like, I'm not, put it this way. When Pacquiao fought Cotto, I didn't give Pacquiao shit because he signed the contract. When Andre Ward fought Chad Dawson at 170, I didn't give him no shit because Andre Ward not only said he can do it, but he signed the contract. When it come to Canelo saying, yeah, I'll fight him at 152. I ain't give Floyd no shit. You signed the contract. So, you know, I get like what they're doing. Because then they'll be like, you know, Canelo's side can say shit like, well, we offered him the contract and he turned it down. But not looking at like, you know, I think it's the rehydration shit. You know? And then they can spin it and be like, oh, well, he ducked. Like, what if it's a situation where, like, Callum Smith weigh in at 168 and then every fight he always rehydrate to 180 and he barely get there. He always rehydrate to 180 and Canelo like, nah, you got to do 178. Like, come on, man. Like, come on. These motherfuckers, man. And you know, that's how Canelo do. You know, he the new Floyd in regards to, he be like, well, listen, he turned in his biggest payday. You know, like, come on, man. I hate that shit. Just like they threatened to sue Kovalev team if they talked about the weight clause. We didn't find that out until the week before the fight, officially. So they put something in the contract that if his team talked about the weight clause, that they could be sued or something. Crazy. 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 Yeah, but you know it's going to be spent that Callum Smith ducking, though. That's going to be spent like that. You know? It's crazy. But I think we kind of knew that, like, he was going to be hit with a rehydration clause. We kind of knew that shit, right? You know? Yeah, we don't know the details. We don't know the details. We don't know the details. So I'm pretty sure that shit's going to come out because Canelo, you know, they got to announce something soon. I'm talking about we're in February, mid-February. He's supposed to fight May the 2nd. Put it this way. It is getting a little fucked up that it's every fight. Like, that's becoming an issue. You know, that it's like, it's a thing with his fights. Floyd, he wasn't doing that shit for every fight. I'm sorry. But at the same time, Floyd wasn't fighting people that was always kind of bigger than him. Like, naturally bigger than him. You know, but he wasn't doing that. It's like, Floyd wasn't like, this. It's becoming a thing with him. You know what killed me? Was when they did Chavez at 164.5. Who does a half weight rehydration clause? A half a weight? Like, who does that? The weight for Canelo versus Chavez Jr. was 164.5. Like, you know? After Canelo was, and team was saying they wasn't big enough to fight Golovkin. They went up over Golovkin for it. That was weird. Yeah, and you know what? They probably tried to catch weight Murata. Murata wasn't trying to hear that shit. You know, see, also, it's kind of difficult because, see, Canelo, they know Canelo make guaranteed money, too. It's not like pay-per-view. It's not like you can offer them certain shit like they used to. You know, so it's different. Canelo can't manipulate the money because he make guaranteed money. And the zone is the one who pays for the other fighters. Yeah, but we don't know yet if there's a rehydration clause. We don't know yet. We don't know. But, you know, why would Callum Smith turn it down? We got to hear from Fast Car. We got to hear from Fast Car. See what he has to say. But also, you got to think, Eddie Hearn has a few of the fighters that Canelo may want to fight. So Eddie Hearn can play hardball on his end without, like, the fighters knowing and be like, nah, you can't get this one. You're going to have to get, like, I don't know. I don't want to get into too many conspiracy theories. You know? Put up an interview with Callum Smith hours ago. What were they talking about? Did he talk about it? But regardless, I got to get to work.